First off, I just wanted to say thank you so much for the hospitality from everyone. It's hard to just point out people because since I arrived, I'm starting to understand why people talk so highly of visiting Cayman Islands because everyone's so friendly. It's truly been amazing to visit. I plan on coming back, and I also plan on opening up a business here. So, yeah. That being said, I do want to point out someone before I begin. Sinan, what an amazing event. You never cease to amaze me. Vegas was incredible. The IMA has been an exceptional organization. For those of you that are not a part of the IMA, I highly recommend it. It has helped transform cybernetics beyond what we are now. So, thank you. So, that was an amazing intro. In fact, I think my speech is done, so I have nothing left to say anymore. Thank you for that. I am here to talk to you about what we have gone through as a journey, a collective journey. I stand before you a completely changed man. I am not the same guy I was, well, for the majority of my life. As an organization, we went through an incredible journey together, and we have all changed. The company's changed. And because of that, I started speaking. I fell into it. I adore telling everyone about our messages of empowerment, transformation. Victor, for all of you last night that heard Victor speak, what an amazing journey he was on. And I love how he talked about transparency. I'm going to talk today about a little bit about transparency. He was focusing on transparency in workplace. But I'm also going to talk to you near the end about transparency of all of you possibly looking inward to yourselves. So this is about a journey about our business, but I'm also going to talk about all of you at the end. So to start, I have a little video.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break.
We do dress like that every day.
I could go to space with the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you.
So obviously we have the full version on our website if you want to see it. This was not driven by the executives at all. This was driven by the employees. Every single member of our head office is in this video. And then what spurred from there is our subsidiary offices, like in the Dominican Republic, started to build their own videos. It was truly fun. So my journey begins, I started this business that we have today in our basement, my best friend and I. The typical entrepreneurial story that you hear, possibly out of Silicon Valley. We started with nothing, and we started in our basement, basically with 2 computers, and now we're the 5th largest phone and internet company in Canada and growing really rapidly. For a decade, thank you, for a decade, it truly was an amazing place to work naturally, meaning I didn't have to focus on culture. I'll say this, I didn't even know what the word culture meant or was. I never read about it, never talked about it. It was really an entrepreneurial-driven ecosystem. It was, we would go out on a Thursday night and go for a Guinness, or go to the local pub for a beer at night and talk about what we've done. We would align each other by doing simple things like that, but as your business grows, and I'm sure a lot of you know, it becomes impossible to do something like that. It becomes impossible to reach out to everyone, to connect with them with your stories, so they have the history, so they can feel a part of the business. And so for a decade, rapid growth, we have a full suite of services from residential to business, call center, offshore, et cetera, et cetera. We were growing very rapidly. And for the most part, it was extremely happy place to work. Let's try that again. Well, he's supposed to just go unhappy. So maybe I just want to stay happy now. So anyways, so I will say this. There was a point in time where, now imagine you're with your best friend, your childhood best friend. Everyone's told you to never get into business with your best friend or family. You've managed to get through all of that for 10 years, build a reasonable successful business, and one morning I walked into the very dream I helped create and knew I didn't want to be here anymore. What a horrible feeling that is. You feel so empty. Right? I still get shivers about that. Because how could this possibly happen to me when everything that we dreamt of is here? The relationships I have are strong, but I just didn't feel passionate about it anymore. I never thought that it could come to that. And I noticed that because I wasn't passionate, I wasn't leading with passion. And then I started to notice that there was bickering that was occurring in the ecosystem like I'd never seen before. Arguments in the kitchen. We have this bright, cheery kitchen where it was meant for people to collaborate and be constructive. The reverse was starting to occur. I started to notice that people were starting to hold their jobs like this. You know, when people don't feel safe, what do? Right? They close off. I protect. And silos were coming up. Work execution was falling down. Productivity was dropping. Our growth that we had always done over 10 years, obviously the 5th largest internet company in Canada, was exceptional. Well, we started to go under 10%, never done that before. It culminated when I went out for that same pub for a beer on a Thursday night. And 3 customers were with me. One was a very good friend of mine. And they said to me, ironically, they had chances to tell me this before, but they didn't. I knew that this couldn't be a coincidence. They said to me, John, I'm going to level with you. My friend stood up and said, it's just not a pleasure dealing with your company anymore. In fact, I don't want to be a customer anymore, and it's really hard for me to tell you that. But I can't. And then the other 2 guys opened up and said, yeah, you know, I don't like even visiting anymore because we have an open policy where you just come and visit, you collaborate, even if you're not with our company. Truly, something had to change. It was changing completely for the negative. Truly, something had to change, but I didn't know what to do. I wasn't even passionate. My business partner, Jody, our CEO, wasn't passionate anymore either. The timing was uncanny. He's a prototypical entrepreneur, but you can't be that prototypical entrepreneur in a business that's large because you can't layer on innovations because it defocuses the company. Something else that we learned. So he was trying to reinvent himself. We truly were lost. We truly were lost. So what I did is I did what an entrepreneur does. I didn't know what else to do. I went into my office, shut the door, opened up my laptop, and literally opened up Google and put in unhappy teammates. I didn't know what workplace culture was. I never really read about it. How do we make teammates happier? And what I did notice was, as I was starting to read articles that fascinated me, I started to read articles that I'd read before. It wasn't Steve Jobs necessarily talking about the innovation that they came up with. It was more, when I was reading from different eyes, it was more about the innovation that they came up with, yeah, sure. But it was the collective that nurtured it to come to market. It was the collection of everyone coming together to make it exceptional. And then I started reading quotes like strategy, culture eats strategy for breakfast. And I started reading and reading and reading, and then it dawned on me, wait a second. Hey, dummy, the passion isn't marketing or sales or finance or anything like that. Your passion is your people. How did you forget? You've always cared about your people. Why is that not your passion anymore? So then I went away for a little while and thought, how am I going to approach this? I've never done it before. I gathered all the executive teams together off-site. But before I get into that, a couple stats that are important to acknowledge. 13% of employees feel engaged. This is a major epidemic. And for those of you that are business leaders, what an enormous competitive advantage if you decide to invest, if you decide to empower, if you decide to deeply care, if you decide to really, truly involve in what matters to make people feel happy and passionate about what they do, instead of fear-based. It's another one that just popped up recently with millennials in Canada. 55% of all millennials that are employed in Canada want a career change this year. They're thinking about different aspects of what it means to them in life. They're not just talking about, here's my paycheck, it pays 60 grand a year, or whatever the number is, I go to work, here's my objectives, and I go home. No, it's a part of an overall life. We spend a third or more of our lives. Don't we want to enjoy it? It started to really profoundly change me. Our awakening occurred. I gathered people off site. I knew we were going to argue. I knew that we weren't even going to be able to, that typical elevator pitch. I was banking on the fact, I knew it, that we'd all have a different version of who we are. We didn't even know who we were as a company. Simon Sinek, interesting guy for those of you who know him, right? He talks about the why, but no one talks about the who. If you can find who the organization is, I don't even like to call it culture anymore. It's really releasing the very essence and personality of your business. And when you can find that, you know who you are. Why follows. How follows. What follows. So we were discovering who we were. And we had feverish arguments. We had disagreements. But all of those kind of difficult conversations. But by the end of the day, smiles were appearing. We had the rooms full of different theories about who we were and what we wanted to be. But we came out of one day we came out with a brand new mantra for our business. It's the emotion that binds us all together. I am in. I'm in means to us is that it's that emotional connection, that moment when two entrepreneurs come together. Let's say Sinan's an entrepreneur. Let's say he's an entrepreneur, I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm introduced to Sinan because I need a programmer or a developer and I'm told he can help me. When we sit down and I'm sharing my dream with Sinan, it's not about talking about shiny towers and benefit packages and huge salaries. What it is does Sinan see and feel the dream in my eyes? Does he get it and does he start contributing to it? Does he feel that connection? Does it start to give him shivers? Does it overpower him and make him passionate? That's what I'm in is to us. And in that room, it started. I could see the joy, the smiles. I'm in. Yeah, we're in. We've always been in. We just forgot. A transformation started to occur, and then it culminated into the biggest event we've ever thrown as a company. I kept it as a secret. I formed this stealth little crew called the I'm In Crew, and they helped me organize it. I dove right into it myself. I left my other work beside, and I became an event planner because I didn't care. I wanted it to be a surprise for everyone, including even my business partner sitting in the front. Captured on video. Tears, smiles, hugs. It was truly amazing as people came together through the authentic transformation. Here's the one thing. When you embark on something like this, and we're going to talk about the results, and they're staggering really for our company. When you embark on something like this, there's a rule number one. People know when you're not authentic. So don't do it unless it's truly who you are. Zappos, what an amazing company. I went for a tour of Zappos, right? Amazing what they've done. When I went for a tour, there was others touring. The problem with that is that people were writing everything down. Mutant Ninja Turtle runs by, Mutant Ninja Turtle. But that's Zappos. That's who Zappos is. The reason why Tony doesn't mind that you go for tours is because he knows that's authentic to them. But if you try to copy it, it's not who you are. Culture is not a ping pong table or a poster that's put up on the wall that says, here's our proud core values. It's about living it as a leader, embracing it with a steadfast resolve to teach people and care for them that this is who we are as an organization. You want to win the battle for talent. Tell them who you are. How do you expect to hire the best people when you can't successfully communicate who your organization is and what we do and why? Changes and growth happen immediately. I call this the inspiration stage. The inspiration stage is after you've set a brand new set of core values, your company purpose, your mantra, your mission statement. And oh, by the way, I'll tell you what our company purpose is. Our company purpose is nothing like a phone or an internet company. To deliver happiness and connections every day by being awesome. What does that mean? To deliver happiness means mind, body, and spirit to us. Very important, all three. Connections mean data connections, IP connections, voice connections. And to be awesome means simply to come into work, come into passion, I like to call it, every day and try to be our best. But guess what? If we can't be, then maybe our teammate's there who's empathetic to help prop us up because we're sharing a common dream. Changes and growth started to occur in all of us that were quite dramatic. So we seem to be missing, for whatever reason, just so everyone knows, when this was loaded on, they didn't load it correctly on for transitions. So I'm missing slides. But we'll work with it. So we have Hug Our IT People Day. Why not? We have gardens outside our building. These clubs all popped up everywhere because we gave people freedom to do it. It wasn't HR that was doing it. It was popping up from the actual ecosystem themselves. Apologize that it's not working properly. Ingrown charities hatched from the business. As opposed to just saying, we're going to invest in these charities, which is great. We said, what charities matter? What matters to this company? Here's a little example. One day, before the culture reorg, I went and said, you know what, these two groups are working exceptionally hard. Let's give them box seats to a hockey game. Canada hockey, right? I found out on Monday that only 6 people went to the hockey game and there were box seats. And I thought, why would only 6 people go to that? The box seats, it's amazing. Hey, dummy, maybe they don't like hockey. Ask, right? We forget to ask as leaders. Engage. Find out what's important. We found out that investing in children are really important to our business. We also found out that we had great ideas internally about what to do about that. So Backpack for Kids in the Dominican Republic is our homegrown charity. This was our first year, and we send children to school that can't afford to go to school. And this is driven by us, and it's our own corporate charity. We don't look to invest outside of our corporation. This is all driven. Bears and Bunnies. We give bears and bunnies to children that unfortunately have to be admitted to hospital. And there's that point where they have to go into operations where the parents can't go in. It's a very terrible separation point. These bunnies help with that. So when you embark on starting to transition your culture like we did, I called what I said earlier the inspiration stage. The inspiration stage comes from remembering who you are, right? Like I said, who's the organization? What is the organization? Releasing the essence and the personality of the organization. But as leaders, we forget to storytell. We forget to tell how we started. Hey, we started in the basement, and when we faced problems, and we had a ton of them, we went through them. We figured out a way. We found solutions. We didn't let fear stop us. We don't let it now. We have so much more to gain now. We have so much more resources. We have so many great teammates. We can get through that together. Remember your storytelling as leaders. Get back to when you started. Share that. Make it a part of who they are. Changes that occurred in all of us. We started to believe. What does that mean? We started to believe that we can actually hit these targets. We can hit these goals because we're all agreeing on them. And we believe on who we are. So if we believe in who we are and we care and we have passion, we believe. What a powerful emotion that is. We started to practice gratitude as an organization. I recently partnered with Sean Aker. Does anyone know who Sean Aker is in here? Sean Aker, what an amazing guy. He's the most sought-after speaker in the world on the practice of gratitude in corporations. He's a Harvard researcher, and he has a 21 days to transformation where you can take a low-level pessimist and in 21 days change to a low-level optimist through the practice of gratitude. Now, gratitude is extremely powerful because it's not just about saying, I'm thankful, right? I'm thankful. It's feeling the emotion. It's feeling the emotion and pausing. So as an organization, we look to pause. We look to think about what we're doing, about what we received. We practice that gratitude. It leads to personal happiness. Empathy. Because we were believing and because we were practicing gratitude, we realized that there was a lot of things that really were only broken because we were breaking them ourselves. Because we were holding back, because we were feeling unsafe. Through the inspiration and belief, we started to open up. Silos were crumbling down. Communication was, I call it over-communicating. We were over-communicating again. Productivity started to increase, and we noticed the health of individuals in our ecosystem because our core value that we promote is happiness, mind, body, and spirit. was improving exceptionally. We hired personal trainers. We allow people to do yoga. We practice mindfulness. We allow people to take breaks whenever they want. I don't want you working overtime because, like Ariana Huffington, I believe if you work too much overtime, you're fatigued. Simple. If you're too fatigued, you can't make intelligent decisions. Why do we push people so hard as leaders? Somewhere in the Industrial Revolution, or even well before, a great entrepreneur, man or woman, developed widgets. Those widgets sold. And somehow the individual said, wait a second, we just have to change from 8 hours to 12 hours. They're going to make more money, and we're going to make more money, and they're going to make more money, and everyone's happy. But we became stressed. We entered distress levels. We take that unhappiness home as an organization, as individuals. We try to find happiness at home, and we unload all the pressures to our wives, husbands, and children. Why can't we take happiness home with us? Why can't work be passion? And passion leads to happiness. Happiness leads to productivity. And productivity leads to results. It's not rocket science. I'm just a dude from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. If we can do this, all of you can do it. We started to care about each other authentically, helping each other, get past it, not looking at someone as a threat for my job, because we've built a feeling of feeling safe in the environment. When you inspire people to feel safe, that's the second phase. So phase 1 is inspiration. Phase 2 is safety. When you create an environment that encourages people to feel safe, what happens? They become their individual self. They start to express who they are. They start to come to you with the problems that are occurring, and they start to talk to you about how we get through it together. Now, all of a sudden, when I was full of conflict resolutions and my HR department was overloaded, I haven't had a conflict resolution in 5 months. Resiliency. Oh, we've recently learned a big lesson in our business with resiliency. We got hit with a bomb out of the blue. Here we are, growing, recovering, doing a bunch of things that are amazing, but recently we got hit with an unpredictable bomb about 4 months ago. That bomb really tested all of us. And it was something we could never have predicted. But because of the culture, because of what we built, because of how we got unified, if that bomb would have hit before, I'm scared of what would have happened to the company. But we authentically linked each other together and embraced each other and we'll get through it together. Just like Victor was talking about last night. Authenticity. It's about just saying the truth. It's about what Victor said last night. I keep referencing him because I'm impressed by him. It's about being authentic and saying the truth and deeply caring. You know, when we were in the inspiration stage, I knew it was going to be tough. It wasn't all about rah, rah, rah. I had to have really tough dialogues with people. There were a lot of tears, I'll be honest with you. I was open to that. I was willing to sit and be a part of that because I care about them. And that's what I call the deep healing. The deep healing allows you all to get that out and come together as leaders. When you come together as leaders and you've cleansed, it's amazing what can happen post that. Vulnerability. Vulnerability, for whatever reason, I don't know why, is ingrained into us as leaders that it's a weakness. Why is that? Why do we feel like we can't express ourselves as leaders? Why can't we feel like we can go and say, we've had a terrible day today and I'm not feeling good? Why do we have to be this pillar of strength? Pillar of strength is that vulnerability is the strength. When you express yourself in a transparent way with vulnerability, people identify with you. You say, he's human, she's human. We can get through this together. Oh my gosh, what's this?
Surprise!
What the hell?
Even smile bombed.
That's crazy. Oh, you're not supposed to record this stuff?
What do you think, John?
Holy. Stylish. I like that one. I'm making kindness a priority. Aw. You guys are amazing.
That's what you get for being awesome.
El Jefe of happiness. That's crazy. Thanks, everyone. Look, I still get choked up about that. So what happened there was, in February, it's cold in Canada, right? And, you know, it's dark, and I wasn't feeling happy. I just wasn't. I email my staff every day. Every day. It takes a lot of effort, but I do. I email them images that I hope to inspire them, even if just one person. And there was a time when I just was feeling lousy, and I was walking through the office, for a few days, and people were noticing it, right? Because all eyes are always on the leader. And I felt like, okay, wait a second, I'm just going to email this. So I just told everyone, look, I'm really not happy. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because it's cold and dark, and I want to be somewhere warm. But don't worry about it, and don't own it. It's just me. It's okay. And I walked through the office that very day, and one of our head programmers out of the blue that barely speaks, Peter Lepke, comes up, and the recipient of that hug earlier, comes up and says, you're not in this alone. I said, oh, okay, thanks, Peter. I was in a board meeting, and I came out of the board meeting, and I didn't know this, but staff all lined up at my head office and put sticky notes all over my walls, desks, computers, everything, just to give me encouragement to say, hey, we're proud of you, we love this organization, and keep doing what you're doing. I immediately transformed. With that show of kindness, of loving kindness, I transformed instantaneously. And I've never been the same.
Hi, my name is Amber. I am the receptionist / office coordinator here at Fibronetics. The reason I love my job is because I come to work today and I feel part of a group. This isn't just a job, it's a family. And, no matter if you're having a bad day at home or whatever, you can come to work and people here will cheer you up. People here will support you and help you, and I've never had that before. So I love coming to work. They've done a lot of changes in the last 6 months to a year, and it's really improved the environment around here. It's not just a job, it's not just a company. It's somewhere that you want to be a part of. You want to come and experience it, and at the end of the day, you're still, thinking about it and want to wake up the next day. I'm sure we've all had those jobs where you wake up and you're like, oh, I gotta go to work again, and 9 out of 10 times I don't feel like that, and if I do, it's because I'm sick or something, something ridiculous. But for the most part, I love coming to work, and I love being a part of not only the people, but the culture and the customer experience and everything.
So what does it mean with someone like her being so proud, authentically proud and happy? Well, she's the first person people see that come into our head office. She's smiling every single time when people come in, and I'd get comments on it. Comments from the FedEx person. I've never seen someone smile so much like your receptionist. It started a chain reaction in the company, but all of us. We started to become different people because people were feeling empowered and safe to become their true authentic selves. And I'll talk a little bit about that. Your true authentic self. I firmly believe that you've probably read the books about, and even spiritual books about, becoming your true authentic self leads to happiness. What about your work? What about your true work self? If we want to be exceptional at what we do, don't we gotta love it? Don't we have to be passionate about it? When people chase their passions and then you empower them, incredible transformation occurs. We deeply care, we deeply look to inspire, and we deeply try to unify. This is not a stock image. This is all of us doing yoga together. You hired them for their strengths. Why do you focus? Why do people focus on their weaknesses? Hey, you're amazing up here, but by the way, we're going to send you away to school because, this one here you're not very good at. Well, thanks for deflating me. Focus on their strengths. Enable them to soar. They'll know what they're not good at, but when you invest and encourage them in a positive way, they can deal with the negatives a lot easier. You're not focusing on the negatives and bringing them down. What does fear do? It makes us collapse, right? Encouragement and love lets you go free. Makes you feel strong. Our employee turnover is at an all-time low. I call it a gravitational pull. So we're all marketers, or a lot of us are marketers. I'll say this. We spend so much time thinking about what our perceived external brand is, meaning who are we aligning with? What's our demographic profile? What is our key influencers? What stars can we associate our brand with to help us penetrate? What about our internal brand in our company? What are our employer brand? Imagine if you had your ecosystem full of people that were so profoundly inspired that they were telling everyone on social media about how amazing it is, how incredible our products are, how we look after our customers better than our competition. Well, that's what happened to us. And the gravitational pull was absolutely incredible. I had never forecasted, thought it would happen. I didn't do it for that. Strategic partnerships started appearing up because people wanted to deal with a company like us, who represented with value systems like we do, a value system like we do. Recruitment, holy, national talent coming from everywhere wishing to work for us. I didn't intend to do it, but literally a major competitor that's in the same city as us lost a major amount of talent to us. And it's been obviously I can't speak for them, but that's a big hit. For the leaders that don't think this is going to happen, you are going to be behind the curve. People are starting to demand and look for companies that provide a lifestyle of care, of empowerment, of learning, of transformation, of inspiration. It's not about getting a paycheck and saying, see you later anymore. It's a great opportunity. I spoke about attracting exceptional talent. It's truly been incredible, the kind of talent that has just come to us. We're not even spending the money that we did on recruitment anymore. It's just coming to us. Over 2/3 of our company went and invested into improving their overall health, mind, body, and spirit. We hired a doctor. The doctor came in and gave free nutritional profiling. We hired a naturopathic doctor to give a full body analysis. We hired personal trainers like I spoke to before. We allow people to chase what I call ancient wisdom. A little bit of tip for everyone. Why read books that just came out? We always focus to that, don't we? Hey, did you hear about the new book? What about the amazing philosophers that have lived hundreds of years ago? If you start to read and deeply understand, whether it be Buddhism, Kabbalah, anything, and look at the messages within, it's incredible the profound knowledge you can get from it. As an example, a lot of people don't know this. Steve Jobs read one book 40 times, one per year. And Parmigiano Uganda, he was one of the first people to bring the study of yogi to Western civilization. He read it 40 times, once per year, and it was the only book he handed out to everyone that was at his funeral. Incredible wisdom. I recommend it. So we encourage that. We have groups coming together to talk about what it was like to be brought up in Italy, what it was like to be brought up in France, what it meant to be Catholic, what it meant to be a Buddhist. We just talk about it all, and we learn. Our behavior and language change. This is a key indicator in culture. When your actual behavior and language change, you know it's penetrating. I'm asked John, how do we know, and where do we start? Okay, where do you start? Well, it starts top down, but how you know is when it's side to side. When people start holding each other accountable and saying, hey, our core value of trust with our customers, that wasn't that great. Why'd you do that? But don't confront them with it. Say, hey, maybe you're just having a bad day. Let's talk about that. National press attention started to occur, actual global press attention. And my speaking career, I'm so proud and honored to be in front of all of you today. This is an example of what happened. Being asked to speak on behalf of the White House was truly incredible. HR concerns are down over 80%. Record sales 8 months straight. Growth went from 9% to over 50%. We didn't hire anyone new during the first phase of that growth. Then the growth kicked in and we really had to hire. Now, think about this. Not only did we grow, think about the pressure on the ecosystem itself to support that growth and how important the culture was. We don't hire anyone in the company until they've passed the culture exam. The culture exam is live. It's an interview. It's the last one. If you're an exceptional talent and our people that are trained to see if you're in and you're not in, you're not in. Our culture is too important to us. We monitor company happiness metrics. We built our own application that monitors happiness. It's an incredible application. In fact, it came out of culture. I'll say this quickly. Innovation came out of culture that created this, meaning we created the Seedling Initiative. So we went to all of our employees, went to all of our employees and said, if you've ever thought about opening up your own business, don't hide that. That's scary, right? To come to your boss or your leader and say, I don't want to do what I do anymore, I want to do this. But we created a safe environment for people to feel encouraged that they can. So he said, if you've ever thought about starting your own business, come to us, come to Jody and I with that. If we think it's a great business, we're going to put all the money around it. We're going to put human resources around it. And you can own up to 49% of the business. Okay, that started in a small office. About a year ago, I would say, to that wall across and in here. About a 25,000 square foot facility. There's 10 seedlings in there that are truly incredible innovations, and one we built for ourselves to monitor happiness metrics and are now selling to other brands like Lululemon, and we won Canadian Innovation of the Year. Amazing. Basically all KPI metrics, I won't go through them because we don't have the time, but they're high. We're doing pretty good. Our first year against every company in Canada, every company, not categories of small, medium, large, every company, we won Best Employer Branding. Truly amazing with the Cayman initiative. I was shocked. Such a gala to be even nominated and be at that gala. And then when they said Fibronetics, I didn't even know what to say. I certainly didn't have a speech prepared. This is something I added, and this is a portion of the speech. We're getting near the end because I don't have much more time. I want to talk about all of you. I hit a moment in time in my life where I said, I couldn't possibly say about all the things I'm talking about without dealing about something in my past. Something that I just didn't want to deal with. I was too scared. I shoved it away in a corner. I said, I'm fine. But I decided that if I truly am a believer in what I'm talking about, I will look to tackle it. I'll look to hit that, I'll look to go into the middle of the fear. That would have been cool if it would have landed on my hand, right? Courage doesn't exist without the presence of fear. Fear is there to challenge you. But if you let it cripple you, it'll do that. I wasn't going to let it cripple me anymore. I was scared. So I went into the heart of the storm, and I decided to see if I could get through it. And I'm happy I did. It's a lot of pain. A lot of pain to deal with, but I'm, definitely have come out as a different person. People say, John, you smile differently now. A simple statement. Do you agree that every soul has a thirst for happiness and meaning? How can we live in this life without either? How do you expect people to come into your business every single day without experiencing any meaning, without experiencing happiness? Because we talk about our brains and we talk about our heart. We should lead with our heart. But what about our soul? That intuition inside that tells you what's right and wrong? What's important to you? Somehow our intuition already knows, like Steve Jobs says, our intuition already kind of knows what we want to do and how and who we want to be. I challenge all of you to think about this about yourself and the business that you're creating, the leader that you wish to be, but also how you're authentically empowering others that are under you and what it means for them. It's awkward to talk about this stuff, right? Why? I can say it. I was 5 years old and my parents got divorced and it was horribly crippling to me. I'm not afraid of your reaction. We can talk. We're human beings. We all have those things, right? Happiness is personal, individual. When you think about vulnerability, vulnerability is the gateway to going inward. vulnerability is the door. Because happiness isn't an outward journey, it's an inward journey. We grow up all our lives thinking, I got to go to the restaurant, I got to go to daycare, I got to go pick up the kids, I am a kid, I got to go to grandma's, I got to go. We're always conditioned to go somewhere. But do we ever take the time to actually still our minds? We're so busy, it's so hard, right? But do we ever take the time to go inside? When you vulnerably look at yourself and others, but especially yourself, you start to look inside your heart about what matters to you as a person and a human being. You can discover your passion that lies deep inside you. You want to lead a business? You want your business to succeed? Oh, be that passionate leader, but authentic passionate leader. And chase your dreams. Don't forget about your dreams. The journey is inward. Take the time to do that, even if it is scary at times. Lastly, when we are vulnerable, I spoke about it being a gateway. It's a gateway inside to who you are as a human being, your heart. This is where you find your true self. This is where you find that feeling that comes inside you that goes, oh my gosh, you finally identify with yourself. Man, I can't wait to get up in the morning. A paycheck will get someone in the car. Passion gets them bouncing out of bed, and it will do the same for you. Lastly, I want to say that I'm enormously grateful to be in front of you. I can't even believe that I am. All of you are the experts at what you do. I'm just trying to share a story. And I want to thank you so much for listening to me. And I wish you happiness. And I wish you success. And what an amazing event. And I'm very grateful to be here. Thank you so much. Namaste.